Hello everybody, my name is Jeffrey, and in this tutorial we are finally going to create a basic shader program. So we're going to start off this tutorial by creating two files for our shader programs in our shaders folder. So the first file I'm going to create is basic vertex.vs for our vertex shader. Then I'm going to create a second file, basic fragment.fs for our fragment shader. I close this off and create a new class in our shader package and call the class basic shader. This class is going to extend the shader class, and that means that we have to implement some methods from there as well. But we're going to start off by creating our constructor, so public basic shader, and in here we'll call the super method, which is basically the constructor of this class. And so go ahead over here and well, before I actually forget, I was looking at the code of last tutorial and I saw that I forgot to put a new line after we appended each line. So source.append \n, which will basically put a new line at the end of the string, so that will read the file correctly. So if you've done that, then everything is okay right now. So I'm going to create two final static strings in here, and those are going to be the paths to the vertex to the shader files. So private static final string vertex file equals vertex basic vertex .vs, just like the file's called over here. Copy this, paste it, and change this to fragment, and did this to fragment.fs. Save it, and in here add vertex shader, load shader vertex file, and we're going to do the same for our fragment shader. So add fragment shader, and we're going to load up our fragment file. After that, compile shader, and that's it for our constructor. Now we have to bind the position to the first attribute in the attribute array, so attribute 0. So bind attribute 0, and we're going to bind it to position. And you can maybe remember this from, I believe it was tutorial number 6. In here we did something with the attribute array and attribute pointer, and we told it the first pointer, so pointer 0, as a 3-dimensional float variable. Yeah, so this is your basic shader class, and it will work. So go over to wherever you created the files on your computer and open them with Notepad++. I do prefer using Notepad++ for my shader files because I can specify a custom language, and that will just highlight the things in the in my code. Just like over here, this is purple and bold, and this is blue, and this is italic and blue. So yeah, that's basically what it will do. I'll put the link to the custom language file in the description so that you can download it as well. And let's get started with our vertex shader. I'm going to move this to the left. Okay, hashtag version 400. This is the first line of your shader file. The first line in every shader file has to specify a version so that the graphics card knows how to interpret, I believe, the code in here. So we're going to start off by retrieving our position. So layout location equals 0 because it's the first attribute in the attributes array, and we're going to take in a factor 3 called position, and please make sure this 0 is the same as this one, and this position has to be the same as this, otherwise it'll give an error. Okay, and then void main, we're not going to take anything in, and type gl underscore position equals factor 4 because we have to cast our 3-dimensional position vector to a 4-dimensional position vector. I'd like to give an explanation, but we don't have very much time, and therefore I'm just going to say that this is just how OpenGL works. So yeah, so we're going to type in position comma 1.0. This, so it's going to take the x, y, and z components from the position, and it's going to add 1.0 for the w component. And that's it for our vertex shader for now. Our fragment shader, go ahead and type version 400, and we're not going to take anything in, so we'll just create our main method, so main, and in here type gl underscore frag color equals, and also a factor 4 over here, and just type in 1.0 comma 1.0 comma 1.0 comma 1.0. This is the first one represents the red value, the green value, the blue value, and the alpha value, and this will be the opacity. So oh, and final thing that we'll have to do is we'll have to add everything to our master renderer class. So private basic shader, and we're going to initialize it. So basic shader equals new basic shader, and we'll import the basic shader class, and over here basic shader.bind, and here shader.unbind, and that's it. I believe we will get the same result as we got last tutorial, well, the tutorial before that, and as you can see, that is indeed what the result is. I'm going to teach you one more thing. We can change these variables, so we can make this 0.0, and this will change the color of our triangle, and our triangle is bluish. Yes. I don't know the name of the exact name of this color, so I'm just going to call it blue-ish. Yeah. Okay, so that was it for this tutorial. I hope I see you in the next one, so bye.